admit it, I am a boxing junkie, and I love ring general shit. Oh, it always feels good to come clean, admit your sins. Now let's talk about this past Saturday, the 14th of boxing. We're going to cover the matchroom triple header for the females. And we're going to cover that top rank, Terrence Crawford, TKOing Kel, especially one Brooke. We'll start off with either or. Where should we go first? I guess we'll save. But both cards were headlined by fucking legendary people, so one card doesn't favor the other. You know, both headliners were headlined by. Both headliners were some Hall of Fame, legendary, badass boxers. So if we're gonna choose one to cover first, I'm gonna choose ESPN to cover first. Not because I think Katie Taylor is superior than Terrence Crawford. It's for the undercard action. For one title shot, there was 2 other title shots. So we'll save the triple header title card for the second half of this coverage. Now, as far as ESPN card goes, I always like ESPN card. I know Bradley and Andre Ward can be a little I wouldn't say no, I take that back. I think it's more of a maybe what's the other guy? Joe could be a little weird on the commentary sometimes. Him and Mark Kriegel, but I like Bradley and Ward. I think their in-ring historic careers give them some good insight in the commentary game. Now, as far as that whole 26-minute wait for the thumb in the eyeball, it sucks. That sucks really bad for Maloney. But at the same time, it's hard to say where that fight was going, because even though Maloney was looking sharp, that's the way those Maloney boys fight. They'll come out quick and they'll just put some pressure on you. It's not just pressure. They'll put punches. They'll put everything on you. It just you gotta take those guys at least to the 6th, 7th round to see if you could beat them into the body. See if something changes them. Because to sit here and say, "Oh, Maloney was looking great. He was throwing more punches. He was winning that fight." Yeah, but they always look like that. So that's the same way that last fight started. That's the same way his fight before that started. That's the same way his 14th fight looked. Those fights always look the same. Back to where I was. We had to do a quick little stop there, and that's just the way those Maloney boys are. They jump, they put the pressure, the jab, body work. So I can't say, Maloney was on that way to getting his title back, considering we just seen Franco in a trilogy himself. Franco ain't gonna go out like no little punk, but we saw how he got the belt in a very competitive match. So did Maloney deserve his title according to what's written in black and white in the rule book? Oh, of course. Did he get screwed in black and white ink? Of course. But just to say, he was definitely going to win that fight, I can't sit here and say that, but he got screwed in the black and white ink. Now, as far as Terrence Crawford, good lord, right? I gotta say, in me saying that I thought that fight was going to be a draw, but the American part of me picked Terrence Crawford to win that. First thing I noticed watching this fight, I was like, oh man, this is not gonna be good. Even though Brooke was looking well in the first 6-7 minutes of the fight, the first round, I noticed Crawford could push this guy back quicker than I thought. And that was like, holy shit, because once I saw that, I was like, dude, all Crawford really has to do is let his hands go, and Brooke can't keep up. As good as and strong as Brooke is, that 1-2, that's good going forward. That's where Brooke has that strong shotgun jab, you know, and a strong right hand, which we saw. But just when Crawford was able to push him back, and then that switch into the southpaw, in the third round, you saw the writing on the wall. Not only did he switch and Kell Brook's jab and just overall offensive input dropped down, what you saw was that right hand of Crawford. And we talked about two things in the breakdown. Was it going to be if Crawford could push Kell back and the reach? Everything else, I thought these guys were pretty much, if not exact equal, I put them in the same ballpark as good fighters. Boxing IQ, punch selection, you know, ring generalship. They know how to use the ring. But the only thing I took apart was the reach. The reach and if he could get pushed back. And we saw that reach really make a difference in this fight. Not only when Crawford switched to the southpaw, it took the offense away. That right hand, that reach, he was just able, as much as Kell Brook wanted to counter and always known for his timing and counter jab, that reach of Crawford took away the special ones artillery, that counter. So in the third round, you kept seeing that reach and that check right hook getting closer and closer. And in the fourth round, just out of nowhere, you know, they both jabbing. And the fact that, you know, Brooke is a little bit predictable if you know time him right. And when you got a longer reach by him and you see a guy throwing a straight punch, you can throw your punch and get there quicker if you got a longer reach. You see a shorter arm guy coming in forward, you can punch right over his short ass arm, which Crawford did with his power. And did the shot look that fucking tremendous? No, it didn't. It did not, did it? Like, holy shit, you know? Kell Brook went on fucking Queer Street, and that's a whole different story. But Laura, and then just the finish was great. It makes you wonder, though, man. It makes you wonder. Although Kell Brook has a lot of fights left, you know, he has that Tim Tszyu fight over in Australia. That could easily be a nice little fucking money maker for him. He has so many UK fights lined up for him that he could have took instead of this fight. But it makes me wonder, is he going to get 1-2 more done? You know, what is a nice curtain call for Kell Brook? A Sam Egerton in Sheffield? You know, will Sam Egerton throw bombs on him and finish him? I don't know, but I'm looking at something like that. You know, I don't know if he can handle a rate of a Cheeseman or Egerton, but something along those. I'm saying Sam Egerton. Fuck it, Sam Egerton. You know, or bring up a Bradley Skeet for a curtain call. Now, as far as Terrence Crawford, I'm going to make a video on exactly. Like I said, you've seen the one, perhaps the zone. They're talking Pacquiao. We'll talk about that later. Now, as far as the triple header for the females, right there on the zone, Matchroom no, it wasn't Matchroom USA, just Matchroom Boxing. Giuliani and Ball. Although I did not do a breakdown on that video, that fight went what I thought it was going to be. Although I thought Giuliani was the better boxer, the deficit was just her deficit of height, reach, work rate. It was just, everything was just too much. For the first 3 rounds, I had Giuliani winning ring generalship. I think she's the better boxer. She was just too small, as Errol Spence like to say, too light. Even though she was the heavier boxer, she's probably like too light in the ass. You know, cause I think it was more of just the in-between vacation weight. It wasn't like get in shape, muscular heavyweight. That's the loose I've ever seen Giuliani. Again, I know she came up in weight, but that's the loose I've ever seen her. You know, but you saw she still had the skills. It's just that her being small and then having to back away is no matter how much you want to back away, you're going to back away right at the end of Ball's reach, and that's what happened. Ball just kept throwing straight punches and eventually just caught her. You know, just eventually just caught her with the height and the reach. Too much for a smaller fighter to overcome. You know, bigger fighters usually beat the smaller man. You know, the height and reach. They say weight class and all that stuff is for a reason. Not to say that someone can't compete. It just makes it for a more competitive fight. Now, as far as Terry Harper and Katiana, that fight went exactly how I thought it was going to be. If for Harper to win this fight, she's going to have to just pepper her with shots, move around, because Katiana only throws one punch at a time, and she doesn't have the greatest jab. She relies on a power overhand right and a left hook to the body, but her feet are like dead in cement when she has to punch. And Harper just refused to let her put her feet in the cement. You know, she's just like, hey, your cement's still wet. You don't know what the hell to do. Harper moved and just picked her apart. It looked good doing it. Did they mention something about a strength conditioning team? I can say, as the coverage of Terry Harper continues on the Double RT Boxing Show, she is continually to look better as a fighter and as a physical specimen. Her body is looking in shape. She's always looking clean at the scale. She's looking, I guess, muscular, but not over muscular where she can't perform. She's not looking dry and dehydrated on the scale when I see her. So the future of that 140, I don't know who's the weak link, man. I'm a fan of Choi, but it's going to be deadly, man, because she's popping out of nowhere, and everyone wants her because no one knows about her. You know, as much as Michaela Mayer calls out Harper, it's only because Harper is the money. Harper's the money maker. As much as Mayer's talking all this shit in America, there's no fan base for her. You know, there's a American, I guess, hardcore boxing fan base for her. Yeah, I like her. She's a cool, you know, support the American Female Boxing Committee, or the females. But there is no 8,000, 10,000 people coming to see Michaela Mayer. You know, I might overshoot and, you know, land for the moon, but I think there's at least 8,000 to go see Terry Harper in some place. I think Terry Harper could bring in 8,000 Brits to support her. I don't know if Michaela Mayer could bring in 8,000. I'd be shocked if she can, but I think Terry Harper has a way better chance of bringing in 8,000 people. And like I said, she looks sharp. Like I said, the game planning, the 1-2s, all that was the same. But what I really liked, and it's nothing new, it was her conditioning. She's always in shape, but the fact that she said she came in with a strength and conditioning coach, she looked more solid. Her punches seemed more solid. You know, she seemed to believe in her punches more. Whether that was everyone doubting the Natasha, or she had something to prove from the Jonas fight, but she looked good. She looked damn good, actually. Like I said, Hamadou's, Choi, Harper, Mayer. Choi got her work cut out for her. Because like I said, I'm a fanboy, but the 140 is solid. I'm going to be rooting for Michaela Mayer just because I'm a USA fanboy. But my 140 pick, I'm going for Choi because again, my name is Mr.A. and I'm a boxing junkie, and I like ring generalship. And Choi has some nice ring generalship, but Harper's trying to steal it from you. Harper is trying to steal my ring generalship addiction. And moving on, going to Katie Taylor. What can you say, right? But since this is the Double RT Boxing Show, the Ready Talk Boxing Show, I talked something on it. I said it quick in the breakdown. I expect Katie Taylor to just whoop her ass. That's what I say. There's no matter what Gutierrez throws on the offense, she can throw the kitchen sink and she can look terrific doing it. What's going to be her downfall is going to be her defense. She pulls away way too much with her hands down. So I don't care if she could hit Katie Taylor with a baseball bat, a horseshoe, and looking great doing it. The minute she decides to pull back and reset, Katie Taylor is going to bomb on her. And if you notice, the only knockdown came was exactly what I said. She's going to pull away with her hands down, and Katie Taylor is going to catch. And that's exactly what happened. She pulled down, her hands are down, her chin's up, lean to the side, and Katie Taylor eyesight is just way too good. She saw that lean over, like, dude, your chin's right there. Bow, 1, 2, and she dropped. And the whole fight was that. The whole fight was just Katie Taylor bombing her, rushing her, and a person with a hands down defense was getting bombed on. And people say there was a lot of, I won't say people because I haven't really watched the internet for these things yet. So I don't know what the chatter is on these fights on the internet. I listen to some of the channels, I listen to some of the boxing talk. But the comments are like, oh, this is the best, and Ada Harrison, this is the best Katie Taylor I've seen, this is the best Katie Taylor, blah, blah, blah. Is it? Or is it just the weakest competition you've seen Katie Taylor in the ring with? You know, this is the Ready Talk boxing show. Was she game? Was she a fucking warrior? Did she have a chin? Yeah. Katie Taylor tried to throw the mule at her. She threw a kitchen sink at her. And Katie Taylor tried her ass off. She tried her ass off like, 4 or 5 rounds in a row to try to knock that chick out. And Gutierrez took it off. So, was this the best Katie Taylor, or was this just the most disadvantaged opponent you've seen of Katie Taylor? So whatever Katie wanted to do, she did. So you can make the argument, yeah, Katie Taylor looked fantastic, but was it the opponent that made her look fucking dipped in gold fantastic? But either or, like I said, I'm just a Ready Talk boxing show week, so I had to bring that out. Taking away that question, Katie Taylor did look fucking fantastic. And the thing, this is just a side note, my thing I like about Katie Taylor, like I said, following the Double RT boxing show, you know I was always a hard ass on Katie Taylor, because I always thought, you know, she needs a jab, she needs a fucking stronger jab, and I think she tires herself out. I think that's why she doesn't throw the jab as much. I think she relies on her combinations to outwork the opponents later on in the fight, and I think she conserves that energy by not throwing as many jabs. Just my observation, my boxing junkie eyeballs watching the fight. Because if you noticed, Katie Taylor's biggest weakness is her strength, I should say. Her stamina and punch selection and volume, which when she overworks people, is also her weakness. Because if you notice, when Katie Taylor gets tired, she starts breathing heavy. When she gets hits, her body starts reacting to the hits. Her head sways, her body starts swaying, and it gives us something that she's taking a arsenal attack that's stronger than what it is, or is doing more effect. So that's the only. And I think like in round 5 or something, right when she tried to finish her and she came back, she was breathing heavy as fuck for the whole fight. So, like I said, it's picking. I'm nitpicking because, like I said, I just said she was throwing the kitchen sink at this girl trying to knock her out. So of course she's gonna come back to the. Of course she's gonna come back to the corner, fucking breathing heavy. She was throwing the kitchen sink at Gutierrez trying to finish her up. I'm just saying it is a pattern I have seen in Katie Taylor. Like I said, I'm nitpicking because, you know, it's the Ready Talk boxing show. What else we gonna talk about? But a little personal thing I like about Katie, I like the fact that she comes in and that once in a while she'll changed up, but that's generic as black uniform. She comes in all the time, straight down to business, dry looking ass hair in the ponytail, straight boring black uniform, and goes in there and just whoops ass. She looks fantastic. The whole card, all yesterday's fights was pretty much what was advertised, what we thought. Even there was not really nowhere on the matchroom card I thought the A side was going to lose. The only one I questioned was how good Giuliani was going to do, and about 3 rounds is about right. And the Brook, you know, even though there are some people who, you know, Brook was a good fighter, Brook was good, but there's always that tickling in the back of your mind that Crawford's gonna fuck this fool up. But you kept telling yourself, Brook's a good fighter, he still got it. Crawford's gonna fuck this fool up. It was always in the back of your mind, and Brook was looking good. He was looking good. So is he done? We don't know. But that punch resistance, that's a big question. That's a big, big question. How much punch resistance does Kell Brook have? And where does Terrence Crawford goes here next? The Double RT Boxing Show. Stay tuned. We'll talk about it. Thank you for your time and support.